Hey, wait, it's time to listen. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for the constant support that I have been getting, and I greatly appreciate it. Today, I really want to talk about the thing that has been going on for quite a while and how so many individuals come to me saying, Z, how can you be so kind and so thoughtful and loving, but there are some situations where you are just not soft. You are very thoughtful and critical. And for those of you that know, and for those of you that don't know, I practice Buddhism, and I am going to explain here why not being soft or being soft is a critical thing for Z logic. We live in a world that often emphasizes kindness, empathy, and compassion. The idea of not always being soft to everyone may seem counterintuitive, but you see, in Buddhism, it offers a very profound perspective on this very matter. Gautama Buddha, the enlightened sage who founded Buddhism over 2 millennia ago, imparted valuable wisdom that goes beyond the surface of mere politeness. His teachings dive very deep into the essence of human relationships, inner peace, and spiritual growth. So, in this video or in this episode, I am going to explain the profound teachings of Gautama Buddha and make you guys understand why, at times, it is very essential to transcend softness and embrace a more nuanced approach to life. So, giving you guys a little bit of context, at the age of 29, Gautama um, embarked on a spiritual journey to seek answers to the fundamental questions of existence, such as why do we suffer and how can we attain lasting happiness and inner peace. And after a very intense journey of meditation and self inquiry, he achieved enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya in India. From that point on, he became the Buddha, the awakened one, and began sharing his insights with the world. Now, Buddha's teachings revolve around Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. These fundamental principles form the bedrock of Buddhism and offer profound guidance on how to navigate the complexities of human existence. The Four Noble Truths are cornerstone of Buddhist philosophy. They provide a clear framework for understanding the nature of suffering and the path of, well, not of, but like the path to liberation. So let's explore these truths and their relevance to the idea of not being soft to everyone. Number one is the truth of suffering. Buddha's first noble truth acknowledges the existence of suffering in the world. He understood that suffering is an inherent part of human life, encompassing physical pain, emotional turmoil, and the dissatisfaction that arises from constantly craving more. While being soft to everyone may temporarily alleviate some forms of suffering, it does not address the root cause of suffering. Gautama Buddha encourages us to confront suffering head on, acknowledging its presence in our lives. And by doing so, we gain clarity and insight into the nature of suffering, allowing us to find effective ways to transcend it. Number two is the truth of the cause of suffering. The second noble truth identifies the cause of suffering as attachment and craving. It is human nature to seek pleasure and avoid pain, but our attachment to these desires lead us to suffering. Being overly soft to everyone can be a manifestation of attachment and a desire for approval or validation. Our Buddha teaches us that letting go of attachment and craving is the path to liberation from suffering. This does not mean becoming emotionally detached, but rather develop a balanced and compassionate attitude towards others. Number three is the truth of stopping of suffering, or cessation is the actual translation. The third noble truth offers hope by asserting that cessation of suffering is attainable. It is possible to overcome suffering by eliminating its root cause, attachment and craving, that is. When we cease clinging to external validation or the need to please everyone, we free ourselves from the cycle of suffering. Number four is going to be the true of path to the cessation of suffering. The fourth noble truth outlines the Eightfold Path, which is the path to liberation from suffering. This path encompasses ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom. While being soft to everyone might seem like a virtuous quality, the Eightfold Path encourages us to cultivate discernment and wisdom in our interactions. So we go into the Eightfold Paths. The Eightfold Paths serve as a comprehensive guide to living a balanced and purposeful life. It consists of 8 interconnected principles. Number 1 being right view. Right view involves understanding the Four Noble Truths and the nature of reality. It encourages us to see things as they truly are without delusion or distortion. When we apply right view to our interactions, we gain clarity about when to be soft and when to adopt a more discerning approach. Number 2 is right intention. Right intention emphasizes the importance of cultivating wholesome intentions and motivations. It encourages us to act out of kindness, compassion, and non-harming. In our quest to avoid being soft to everyone, right intention guides us to act from a place of genuine care rather than seeking approval. Number 3 is right speech. Right speech entails speaking truthfully, kindly, and with mindfulness. It encourages us to avoid harmful speech such as lying, gossiping, or use of harsh words. While being soft to everyone may involve avoiding conflict through silence, right speech advocates for honest and compassionate communication. Number 4 is right action. Right action involves behaving ethically and avoiding actions that harm others. It aligns with the principle of not causing unnecessary suffering. Now, being soft to everyone means not causing harm, but it's also not enabling harmful behavior in others. Number 5 is right livelihood. Right livelihood concerns our choice of work and how it affects us, like how it affects us and those around us. While it may not directly relate to being soft, it reminds us to choose work that does not involve harming others or is aligned with our ethical values. Number 6 is going to be right effort. Right effort involves the disciplined cultivation of wholesome qualities and the abandonment of unwholesome ones. In the context of not being soft to everyone, it means making a concerted effort to balance compassion with discernment. Verse 7, right mindfulness. Right mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and aware of our thoughts, emotions, and actions. It enables us to navigate social interactions with clarity and equanimity, allowing us to choose our response wisely. And number 8 is right concentration. Right concentration refers to the development of focused and tranquil states of mind through meditation. It enhances our ability to stay centered and composed even in challenging or any challenging social situation. And we have middle way. The middle way, often associates with Buddhism, is the principle of finding balance and avoiding extremes. When it comes to being soft to everyone, the middle way encourages us to strike a balance between compassion and discernment. Gautama Buddha himself exemplified the middle way throughout his life. Before his enlightenment, he had lived an indulgent life as a prince, and then he experimented with extreme asceticism or homelessness. Neither extreme brought him the answer he sought. It was only when he found the balance of the middle way that he attained enlightenment. In our interactions with others, the middle way suggests that we should neither be excessively soft, enabling harmful behavior, nor excessively harsh, causing unnecessary suffering. Instead, we should approach each situation with discernment, understanding when to be compassionate and when to set boundaries. Now, I have to explain the difference between compassion and enabling. So, one versus the other. One of the key concerns when it comes to not being soft to everyone is the fear of lacking compassion. However, Buddhism teaches us that true compassion is not about enabling harmful behavior or sacrificing our well being for the sake of others. Compassion in Buddhism involves recognizing the suffering of others and wishing for their relief. It does not mean allowing others to harm us or themselves. It does not mean turning a blind eye to destructive behavior. True compassion involves a deep understanding of the cause of suffering and a commitment to alleviating that suffering through skillful means. Bringing this, I can think of the parable of the raft. It's one of the, it's just like one of the most famous stories from Buddhism scriptures. The parable of the raft is like it beautifully illustrates the concept of not being soft to everyone when appropriate. This parable highlights the temporary nature of Buddhist teachings and the importance of letting go when they have served their purpose. The parable imagines a traveler who comes across a vast river with a dangerous current. In his quest to cross to the other side, he gathers logs and leaves to construct a makeshift raft. With great effort, he builds the raft and successfully crosses the river. After reaching the other shore safely, the traveler does not carry the raft with him on his journey. He leaves it behind, knowing that it served its purpose in helping him cross the river, but is no longer needed in dry land. The lesson we can learn from this parable of the raft is that it teaches us that the Buddhist teaching, like the raft, are meant to be tools for crossing the river of suffering and ignorance. They're not meant to be clung to, held to indefinitely. In the same way, our approach to being soft to everyone should be adaptive and context dependent. Sometimes being soft and compassionate is like the raft, helping others navigate their difficulties. However, there are situations where holding on to excessive softness becomes a hindrance, much like carrying the raft on dry land. In such cases, we must let go of our softness and adopt a more discreet approach to guide ourselves and others towards liberation from suffering. Now, how can you have the middle path in action? So let's explore the theoretical underpinning of not being soft to everyone in Buddhism. So we're going to dive into practical scenarios where this principle can be applied. The middle path, which emphasizes balance and discernment, is a guiding principle in all of these situations. So number one is going to be setting boundaries. And many of you have already heard me talk about boundaries so many times. One common area where the middle path is crucial is in setting boundaries. While it is important to be compassionate and accommodating, it is equally important to establish clear boundaries to protect our well-being and maintain healthy relationships. Setting boundaries is not a lack of compassion, but as an act of self-care and wisdom. By knowing our limits and communicating them kindly and firmly, we create a space where both ourselves and others can grow and thrive. Number two is going to be dealing with harmful behavior. When faced with harmful behavior from others, the middle path encourages us to respond with wisdom and compassion. This may involve addressing the behavior directly, offering support for positive change, or seeking professional help when necessary. While it is essential to avoid unnecessary harshness, it is equally important to refrain from enabling harmful actions. Balancing compassion with discernment allows us to respond effectively to challenging situations. Number three, navigating conflicts. Conflicts are a natural part of human interactions. The middle path teaches us not to avoid conflict or suppress our feelings, but to address them with skillful means. This means approaching conflict with mindfulness, active listening, and a willingness to understand the perspective of others, rather than being overly soft and avoiding conflict to maintain superficial harmony. The middle path encourages us to engage in constructive dialogue and seek a resolution that promotes genuine harmony and understanding. This brings to me the parable of the mustard seed, which I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it before or something really similar, but it's another powerful parable from the Buddhist tradition that sheds light on the concept of not being soft to everyone not being soft to everyone. The story illustrates the universality of suffering and the transformative power of wisdom. Now, here's the parable, or a summary of it. The parable of the mustard seed revolves around a grieving mother who has lost her own child. Overwhelmed by grief, she seeks out Buddha for help. Now, the Buddha agrees to help her, but with one condition. She must bring him a mustard seed from a household that has not experienced death. Eager to relieve her grief, the mother embarked on her quest, visiting numerous households. Now, very soon she realizes that every home has experienced death, and there is no mustard seed to be found. She returned to Buddha with a newfound understanding of the universality of suffering. Now, what can we learn from this? The parable of the mustard seed teaches us that suffering is an intrinsic part of human existence. Everyone experiences loss, pain, and sorrow at some point of our lives. In the context of not being soft to everyone, this parable reminds us that softening alone cannot eradicate suffering. Softness may provide temporary comfort, but it does not address the deeper existential questions and challenges that all individuals face. Instead, the transformative power of wisdom and understanding, as exemplified by Buddhist teachings, offer a more profound and lasting solution to the human condition. Now, we're going to go into the art of skillful meaning. I spoke about skills before. Buddhism recognizes the importance of skillful meaning in guiding others towards enlightenment. Skillful meaning involves using appropriate methods and strategies based on the unique needs and conditions of individuals. In the context of not being soft to everyone, skillful means are essential for effective communication and compassionate guidance. Number one being tailoring compassion. Not being soft to everyone does not mean being consistently rigid or uncompassionate. Instead, it requires a nuanced understanding of each person's situation and needs. Skillful needs enable us to tailor our approach to offer the right balance of support, guidance, and boundaries. Number two is recognizing individual differences. Each person is very unique, and their path to happiness and well being differ. While some may benefit from a gentle and soft approach, others may require more direct and assertive guidance, a slap in the back of the head. Skillful means involve recognizing these individual differences and adopting our interactions accordingly. Number three is going to be empathy and active listening, which I have in very much numerous times explained or tried to brighten in my live streams. Skillful means also involve active listening and empathy. By deeply understanding the experience and emotions of others, we can respond with greater wisdom and compassion. This approach allows us to offer meaningful support and guidance without compromising our own well-being. We have to embrace impermanence. I have to bring this in because impermanence is one of the fundamental truths of Buddhism. It teaches us that all things, including our emotions and relationships, are subject to change and transcend. Understanding the impermanence is essential in the context of not being soft to everyone, because you have impermanence of emotions. Our emotions are ever changing and are often influenced by external circumstances. Being exclusively soft or harsh in response to our emotions can lead to instability in our relationships. By recognizing the impermanence of emotions, we can respond with equanimity and wisdom. Impermanence of relationships. Even the closest relationships in our lives are impermanent. People change, circumstances change, and the relationships evolve. Understanding the impermanence allows us to appreciate the beauty of each moment while also being prepared for the inevitable change that life brings. And letting go. Impermanence teaches us the art of letting go. It reminds us that clinging or holding on to rigid notions of being soft to everyone is futile. Instead, we can approach our relationships and interactions with a sense of openness and adaptability, allowing them to naturally evolve and transform. Mindfulness and self-compassion. Mindfulness is a central practice in Buddhism, like I've explained before. It involves cultivating awareness of the present moment without judgment. Mindfulness is a valuable tool for navigating the complexities of not being soft to everyone. Number one being self-compassion.
Oh, this dude just fell off.
Mindfulness encourages us to extend compassion to ourselves. In the quest of not being excessively soft, we must remember that self-care and self-compassion are essential. Being mindful of our own needs and emotions allow us to maintain inner balance and avoid burnout. Number two is non-judgmental awareness. Mindfulness also teaches us non-judgmental awareness of our thoughts and emotions. When we encounter challenging situations or difficult people, mindfulness enables us to be or to observe our reactions without immediate reacting. This pause allows us to respond with greater wisdom and discernment. Cultivating equanimity. Equanimity is one of the Brahma Viharas.
No, she's one hit.
Or divine abodes in Buddhism. It involves maintaining mental and emotional balance in the face of life's up and downs. Cultivating equanimity is especially valuable when striving to not being soft to everyone, as it helps us remain composed and compassionate in all kinds of circumstances. Now, let us remember that not being soft to everyone is not a call for harshness or indifference. It is an invitation to embody true compassion,
and you're constantly hitting,
a compassion rooted in wisdom, understanding, and a deep desire for the well-being and liberation of all living things. As we embrace this middle way, we honor the timeless wisdom of Gautama Buddha and strive to bring greater peace and harmony into our lives and the world. In the end, it is the balance of softness and discernment that lead us to true heart of compassion. A compassion that transcends fleeting emotions and bring lasting peace to ourselves and those around us. May we walk this path with open hearts and enlightenment. And like I've said many times, I don't want you guys to subscribe to my beliefs or what I am saying. What I would like for you guys to do is to gather all of the knowledge or all of the good things out of all of this speech and use them in your favor for betterment in life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video or this speech. I love you guys, and like always, don't waste time holding grudges. Live life with love in your heart. Until next time, bye.